Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be unboxing an epic haul of Northumbrian tin soldier models, and I'll be revealing my plans for Weekend Warriors. Here are all the miniatures I've bought from Northumbrian tin soldiers, and I've been building this up over last year, so I've got quite a collection now. And so in this video I thought it'd be really fun to get them all opened up and talk through how I'm going to use them in my game Weekend Warriors. There's going to be 38 boxes to unpack. Most of them have got one miniature in, but some have got like 3 or 4. So we'll unpack them all, talk about what they're going to do in the game and have a close look at each of them. There's some really great models here, so this is going to be really fun to go through and share them with you. And also going to look at some models, just a few that I picked up from Etsy that were 3D printed, and these are fantastic, really like them. There's a surprise one here that I can't open yet because this isn't even out yet. And then some of these I've already done on the channel, like the Gnomes of Agalda's Deep, the Foggy Peak Goblingtons, and my favourite, the Guardians of the Riverbanks. So these 3 are all on the channel already. I've done unboxing reviews of those, so I'll just open them up really quickly and just show you what's in there. But if you want to see them in full, then those videos are available. Okay, let's get into it then. Come and join me, and then we'll go and look through all of the different models up close. Okay, let's get started with these 8 different box sets, and these are all the animal kind of figures, and so these are going to feature in my game Weekend Warriors. And I've been building up this collection last year. From December I bought a load, and then I think it was back in like around summertime I got a load as well. So I've been really waiting to get the full collection, get the book written and published, and now I'm ready to really start getting stuck into these models, get them painted, and start involving them in the game Weekend Warriors. They're going to be in the fantasy side of the game, and if you haven't heard of Weekend Warriors already, then I definitely recommend checking it out. I've got an introduction to it on the channel, but the idea with it is it's a set of rules that you can use any miniatures for, and you can apply the rules to any genre. Fantasy, sci-fi, you can play zombie games, modern warfare, anything whatsoever. So I'm going to be using these for the fantasy side, and I've come up with a world called Brambleberry Bridge. And the animal models that you can see here are going to be from Brambleberry Bridge, which is a small town, and you can find out about that later. I'll do another video on Brambleberry Bridge, but all around it are different towns, villages and sections, and so some of the other miniatures you'll see in this video are going to come from those other towns, and they're going to be involved in scenarios that I'll be playing out here on the channel for the game. So it's going to be real fun, and this month is all about getting these miniatures painted and ready to go, also building terrain, writing stories, and writing the quests and skirmishes they'll all be going on. So there's going to be a lot of really fun stuff coming out this month, and I can't wait to share it with you. But let's get started looking at the models, and I'll open it up and then talk through how they're going to fit in with the game, and you can have a close look at them as well. I'll put links in the description below to all the models, so if you want to pick any of them up, then you can head over to Northumbrian Tin Soldier and grab some. Great company, UK based, they make everything themselves, and they sell other products as well that they don't make, but all of these ones here they make themselves, so really great to support them. I paid for all these, so I'm doing kind of like a review as I unbox them, but I got these because I love them. I think they're so good. So yeah, really happy to share them and support this company, and it'd be great if you could check out their website and give them some support too. Let's get started with the core lock, and this is one that I saw that really drew my attention. I love crows, so this one had definitely appealed to me, and so this is one of the ones that I'm definitely going to have in my warband to get started, and this is going to be like a wizard kind of figure. Now the great thing with most of these is they're already built, so there's no assembling to do, and so you can just get stuck in painting them right away. So that really appeals to me, and then they come with a little base as well, and so I'm going to do these in much this style, this country style, as you can see all around, but the base I'm going to put lots of shrubbery and use different products from different companies, so you can see all those as I do them this month as well. But here's the core lock, great looking miniature, all cast in metal, real heavy, and feels really old school as well, so great fun. So that's the first one. And then there's a Murder of Crows next. This is 4 miniatures in this set, and these are going to be great if I wanted to do maybe a little warband just of crows. Now I can. So I've got the wizard, and I've got 4 of these bad guys. They look like bad guys to me, but you could use them for whatever you like, really. So, but I think that'd be a fun little warband to get up to some mischief. maybe if you're going down the highway past the fields, they'll jump out and ambush you. So there's the murder of crows. Let's tip those out. And these are great. Really cool looking miniature. I love the old school feel of all this. So we're going to get 4 of those. Some really nice detail. Should we get a close up so you can see the detail on this? I can't wait to get these painted. I've had them ages and just going from one project to the next, but now I'm really focusing on it for the next few weeks now. It's all going to be about Weekend Warriors. So obviously I'll be doing videos for the other games too, but Weekend Warriors is going to get a lot of attention now as I do some build-ups and playthroughs, show you the whole idea behind the game, because it's all about spending the week preparing your game ready for the weekend where you can then play it. So that includes like writing the stories, building the terrain and things like that. So I'll go through the whole process so you can see it all in action. So there's 3. I need to trim off the bottom of that one. And then this one here. So really great models. I think these are so fun. You can also use them in Dungeons and Dragons and Burrows and Badgers too. So Burrows and Badgers is great. I've done a review on that book if you'd like to check that out. And there's a spare base in there, which is always going to come in handy. Next up is the Battle Bear. This guy looks mental. So cool. Real cute model. And they do a few bears, but this one stood out to me. I just like the idea of the angry teddy bear. Obviously, it looks like Ted from the movie. So a little bit of building here. Just got to cut the weapons off and put it on. But his face is fantastic. Let's zoom in and check that out. You've got to have a grumpy bear on the team. So there he is. So that's a really nice one. He's even got a button for an eye. He's seen some things. So that's the Battle Bear. Next up is the Goat. This is a really funny looking character. Imagine him as some kind of mysterious traveller that stumbles into town. And then maybe a gun for hire or a knife for hire. Let's have a look at him. So he's quite small actually compared to the others, but he could be like a little, maybe baby goat. So there he is. Real fun model. That's a really good one. Next up is Vesper, the big-eared woolly bat. And this is quite a new model that they've had on their website. So, yeah, he hasn't been around that long. Let's get him open. I'll get him there. Well, this is a tough one. Let's tip him out. So he's going to come with 2 bases, looks like. So we get one for this to go in, or you can put him on a bigger one. So I'll probably just stick to this little one, actually. So that's a cool little tree there. You can hang him off it. They've got some holes drilled in. Glue that in place. That's really great. And what's that? Oh, it looks like you could just stand him up if you wanted to. Well, that's quite fun. So you can either be stood up or you can have him on the tree. But I think I'll put him on the tree because that picture looks great. So I really like that one. Here we've got Flynn the Ranger, and you've got to have a cat on the side, and he's the archer. So again, got an eye patch. He's been through some things too, and I've just opened this before I started filming to make it a bit easier. So there's his little card, and he's quite big. This is quite a big character. Good amount of metal there. They do a whole range of the cats, but I only picked up this one. And so yeah, they do Cats of Crumptown, I believe. And then there we go. He's got his bow ready to go. So great looking model. It's going to be really fun to put together. This one will go nicely in Burrows and Badgers too. Burrows and Badgers rule set, they use like different size models to represent the kind of strength and things like that. With the Weekend Warriors game that I'll be playing, it doesn't matter how big they are. It makes no difference. But there we go. It's all down to their stats, really. But you could use the model and then reflect the stats based on the look of the model and things like that. So that's to be encouraged for sure. Time for some geese, and now it's Sergeant Honks and Norbert Billington. 2 perfect names for some great models. And here we go. These ones are more like animals than anthropomorphic style models, which again I think would be good for Burrows and Badgers, but I think they'll also be fun for my game too. I might use these as part of the warband or have them in the town of Hogton that you'll see later on, who's going to be inhabiting that. I think these will probably fit in better with Hogton. You can imagine them going there and raising the alarm as any enemies come into town. So he's got a bell in his beak there. So 2 little models in that. They're quite cute. Then we've got the Angry Hedgehog. This is a tiny model, but really fun to have on the team too. And if you buy this one, part of the money goes to the animal hospital, the Hedgehog Hospital. So that's a really good cause too. So there it is, real small one. If we compare that to one of the crows, the Corlock that we saw first, You can see that's great. So this would be a really good one to have as the animal handler. So you could have this as the one of the animals and write up a fighter card to use that to make him into a different like warrior beast, and then give him different abilities and things like that. So I think that's what I'll do with the angry hedgehog. As well as all those models we've just seen, they're all going to be in a Brambleberry Bridge, so they'll be in that town, and they're all like the good guys, you like the heroes of the story. But I've also got the Guardians of the Riverbank, which are all metal models as well. They come in this beautiful box, really fun. This is my favourite box I have, I think. I really love it, and it's got some great models in there. And so you've got like the Wind in the Willow style characters, plus the different weasels to go up against. So these are more animal ones that you can use in the warbands as well, or you can use the weasels as bad guys within Brambleberry Bridge, up to you. So you can have loads of different options, and if you want to check these out in detail, I have done a separate video for them. When I was getting ready for Brambleberry Bridge, I also picked up some models on Etsy, and these have been 3D printed. So we've got some little foxes here, one with a staff, one with a bow, one with daggers, and one with a hare or rabbit that they're going to eat, I think. So they're a really nice set of miniatures. I think these were £5 for all four, which I think is a great deal. They don't come with any bases, but I bought a load of 25mm bases to put them on. And so, yeah, really cool models. The detail's fantastic. So let's have a close-up, shall we? And then there we go. So Etsy's got some really cool stuff. I have been looking at 3D models a lot lately, even trying to get hold of a 3D printer. I might go for it, so we'll see. I've been having a good look online, and yeah, we'll wait and see on that. But there we go. So got those to play with as well. And finally, this guy, he's also come from Etsy, so I picked him up there. Another 3D print, great quality, lovely detail, and he's called Bramble the Bard. So he's the main character on this, and he's going to be the one that kind of tells the tales and presents the different scenarios throughout it all. So he's going to be a big part of Brambleberry Bridge. So look out for him. You'll see a lot of him over the next few weeks. Those are all the good guys, so now it's time to look at the baddies in this, and they're going to all be centred around this character here, the Magika. So let's get started looking through each of these miniatures. So here we've got the Magika, and so Brambleberry Bridge is overlooked by a forest, which then leads into the mountains, and in that mountains is a castle where the Magika lives, and he's up to all sorts of mischief. He's always causing trouble in the town, so we're going to be encountering him a lot, and his henchmen as well along the way. So let's get him out and check him out. Magika. So I'll be changing the names for these as well, so these will all be fitting in with my story as I develop it. And again, for Dungeons and Dragons, so good, these models. So there we are, a bit of trimming needed there, but it's great that it's all built. It's going to save so much time. And that's Magika. So he's the main villain in the story of Brambleberry Bridge. The villain needs a bodyguard, and that's where the Brute comes in. So this is going to be a slightly bigger model, and again, all one piece, which is awesome. And so there he goes. A really funny looking model. Really like this one. Let's check out his face. Should we get a close up? So he's going to be like the head henchman, if you like, and he's going to be in charge of the goblins, which you'll see in a minute. And so you have to get past him to get to Magika. And on the other side of Magika is the Fool. This is his aide, a sneaky guy who's always giving him advice, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but he's the one that's going to be a bit of a malicious character in the whole thing. And his snout is just awesome. I think it's fantastic. I've no idea what this is, but we can come up with something funny for that. But really fun model. Good size. And yeah, you can just imagine him whispering in his ear with his long snout there. So that's the three main parts of the main villains. Under the command of those main villains, we've got the Foggy Peak Goblingtons, and this is another box I've done a video for if you want to check it out. This is full of tiny metal miniature goblins, and these are awesome. They've all got loads of different weapons: axes, clubs, shields, bows, swords. There's kind of wizard looking figures. These are fantastic. Such a great set. I love them. I think they're awesome. Here's a close-up of one. Let me focus the camera. There he is. So these are going to be the kind of main bad guys in it. These are going to be raiding the town, trying to steal the brambleberries, stealing the ale, and the mead, all that kind of thing. So these guys are going to cause loads of trouble, and it's these that I've centered some solo and cooperative play rules around, which I'm finalising. I started it and was hoping to get it done last month, but I took a break from it. Sometimes it's good just to shelve an idea and come back to it with a bit of a refresh later on, and that's exactly what I'm doing with those solo campaign rules. But these are going to be a feature in that. So instead of going perhaps 4v4 style skirmish game, you can take a warband of 4 and then go up against like waves of these characters in a solo or cooperative mode. So that's going to be really fun. Can't wait to get that finished. Now, around the castle where the Magicka lives, there's going to be all different areas, and one of those is a swamp, and in the swamp we're going to have the old hag, and all these different areas are going to have like a boss battle, and the old hag is going to be that version of the boss in the swamp. So she's also going to be in control of some of those goblins, but she's going to have some magical powers. So I've got a few different boss ones to go in different zones, so we'll cover those next. But there she is. Another nice model. Great to have it all built. So just going to spray these up, get them painted. I'll be using contrast paints mostly for these as well, so we'll see how we get on with that. But I think they're going to be fun to paint. I've never painted the metal miniatures like this, so that's going to be an experience. Really looking forward to giving it a go. And yeah, can't wait. But this is a great model. On the way to Magicka's castle, you're going to have to go through the forest. And in there, you're going to find the woodsman. So if you encounter this guy, you're going to be in big trouble. And here he is with this huge axe, a crazy beard and a crazy hat, and a sly little dagger there on the side. So another really fun one. So he's going to be another one of the bosses, and you'll find him in the forest. As you make your way up the mountain, you're going to come across the mines, and located in the mines is the spellcaster. So another wizard-like character, and this is a big chunk of metal for this one. Look at that. That's a huge piece. Some fair weight on that one. And he's got this strange little toad in there that's his sidekick, and he's going to be casting some spells. A little bit of trimming to do, but otherwise really nice. This one's got some great detail on the face. Let's zoom in. There it is. So that's really great. I guess I'm going to spray these and then put like a gloss over them, like a protective gloss, before I do the painting, because I think they're easy to chip, these metal models. But if you've got any tips on painting metal miniatures, let me know. I'd love to hear it. But that's the spellcaster who lives in the mines. If you make it as far as the castle, then you're probably going to end up in the dungeon, and in charge of the dungeon is the Master of the Keys, and this is like some kind of labyrinth with all different doors, and this guy's in control of it all. So to dominate the dungeon, you have to take this guy on, the Master of Keys. And he's not a big character, but he's very sneaky and small enough to sneak through lots of little tunnels and get past lots of traps that are set up. So here he is. This is a cool one. It's going to be so fun painting these. Can't wait. So that's that guy. Before you leave Brambleberry Bridge, you've got to look out for the Slicer, who sneaks down into the town to do some damage. He's a bit of an assassin-like character in his cloak. And here he is. Another big chunk of metal this time. So yeah, real hefty piece this. So there it goes. Nice. So yeah. He's a bit of a sneaky character. Got to look out for the Slicer. Next up, we've got the Rat Catcher, and you've also got to look out for him as he prowls the town and also the outskirts. So if you're ever caught out on your own, don't be fooled by the Rat Catcher. So here he is. And this one's cool. I love the little rat hat that he's got, disguise. Really cool. Look at that. Nice fur details. There he is, the Rat Catcher. Our next set of miniatures are the Dwarves, and if you make your way from Brambleberry Bridge to Hogton, you're going to have to cross the Misty Moorlands, and this is where you're going to come across Marina, the Crow Mistress, and her band of dwarves. So these characters are neither good nor bad, and the folk at Brambleberry Bridge regularly trade mead with them. So as long as you're like giving them a good deal, they're going to be all right. But they've got it in for the town of Hogton and the mayor, who you'll meet later on. So let's have a look at these dwarves who are led by Marina, the Crow Mistress. Again, I'll be changing all the names and everything and giving them all backstories. So I really like this one too. Again, I'm going with that crow theme, which I really like. So yeah, nice model. Let's have a close-up of this one. It's hard to see all the detail in the metal, but you can see in the face there, it's really good. And it's old school style, I love it. Really fun. And the idea with this whole like Brambleberry Bridge set of stories is it really harks back to like 1980s style cartoons, and even think of like Smurfs and Gargamel, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be great. Next we've got Hrothir Windhorn, and so he's going to alert if anyone comes near their territory. He's got his spear there as well. I've been looking for some dwarf characters for a while. I really like these. I think they're really quirky, really fun. You could use these in Warcry. It would change the tone of it quite a bit. I think you'd probably have to like just use the rules from Warcry and change the setting. But that would work. That would be quite fun. And some of the wording as well. It's a bit too dark for these characters. But for Weekend Warriors, perfect. Dungeons and Dragons. Burrows and Badgers, not so much because they're not animals. But for D&D and Weekend Warriors, these are spot on. So there we go. Next up is Sandor Thornheart, and he's got the double axes. So we get a nice variety of weapons here on these dwarves, and that's going to really help when building the warriors and putting the warrior cards together with their stats. Again, if you're not into Weekend Warriors yet, check out the videos I've done so far, where I've done the How to Play series, how to design your warriors, what it's all about, an introduction, all that kind of thing. That's already on the channel. And then once I go through this series here, where I prepare for a game, I'll also be doing the battle reports, so you really see it in action now. Now we've got Nellin Flamehair, and she's got a slingshot, and I say she has got a beard, and these are the beard folk. That's what Northumbrian Tin Soldier call them. And so all the women have got beards as well, except for the Crow Mistress. No, she had one as well. They've all got a beard. Hers is just a little bit more discreet, but there we go. The hair is really cool on this one. It almost looks like it's like a clay model, like a fun cartoony look to it. But all the terrain I build is going to be like a quirky, cartoony style, much like I did when I built the Fang that you might have seen in the background earlier on. So there's that one. Now we've got Hildir Thunderborn, and looking at her, you don't want to get on the wrong side of this one. She's got this huge sword, loads of cool pouches hanging off her, and some other things. And there she is, looking great. This is a really characterful model. So really chunky, all of these. Loads of like metal in these. Fantastic. Now we've got Malfolio Ironbraid, and he's seen some action. He's got this huge like mace weapon that he uses. And this is a really good one. I like this. Again, this whole like look of him is like very much like a almost 3D like clay animation style. His eyebrows are awesome. That beard and moustache are great. So I really like this one. He could be my favourite from... There's one other that I really like, but this might be my favourite one from this little set of 9 here. And now we've got Lothor Ogrebane, and I don't know how he got his name. He must have slain an ogre or something, but we'll find out more about him later on. But here he is. He's got the big axe, so he's got the double-handed axe. So he would be like a bit of a tank character in Weekend Warriors, maybe. Again, nice detailing on those eyebrows and beard. Love that. Let's have a look at Lilir Fist next, and she's got a little familiar there, some kind of bird with a tie on, so he's dressed up for the occasion. And then we're just going to bend that back when we get ready to paint. Another great character. I like all the little pouches that they have and things. Some really nice details. I wonder how this is going to work with contrast paint. I'm sure it'll be okay. I may just try out some like solid colour paint and then just put a shade over it, like especially for this coat. That might be another way to go. But I'll try with the contrast paints and see how that works. But a really nice model, this one. And this is the final one from this little group, which is Thela Strongbranch, and she comes with a little toad as well. And this is an archer, so we've got lots of different weapons. We've got a few ranged ones, we've got some power weapons, and then we've got some with spears and horns and things like that. So lots going on. You've also got a couple of like magic style and animal handlers as well. So she could be an animal handler, or we could give the frog to another character. So you've got lots of options with these. But to get 2 models in here is always good. And so there's the little frog, real cute character. And you can see him next to the model, just how big he is. But this one's got some good detail. And she's one of the younger dwarves, so her beard's not quite as long. But the way they've done the hair is really good. The hair and beard, really nice. So that's it. So that's all the models from this little section. Now we can move on to Hogton. But before we get to Hogton, you might come across this wandering band of adventurers, and these can be like mercenaries, adventurers for hire, and these are kind of from the same collection as the Beard Folk, just a little bit different. They've got a different style to them, and so I thought it'd be fun just to grab these. We've got the first one, Howder Deep Cutter, and so he's the leader of the band, and there he is. The flames are really great on this one, and these have got a bit more heavy armour to them, so if you wanted to chop and change between these and some of the other models for little war bands, then this could be a good option. But I imagine going with all 5 of these together in one little war band for a couple of the quests. Called the Chant of the Beard Folk. And the way I like to go with Weekend Warriors is to do like a campaign where maybe the kids take one war band of the same characters, their favourite ones, and then I play all the bad guys. So that's really cool. So I can play like a different one each time. They don't have to keep learning new rules for new miniatures, but they get to play against lots of different ones in lots of different scenarios. That's a real fun part of the game. And these models are great. I mean, this one's so cool. So many details. Let's have a close-up. Let's get it to focus. This one's great. So there's a lot going on here. He's got a few different weapons. Heavy armour, heavy weapon. So he'd be like the tank. And then you've got all the other ones with different weapons again. No range here. So these are going to want to get up close. But we've got a kind of magician style there as well, which is really fun. So these are awesome. I really like these. Okay, we've made it to Hogton, and now we've got to take on the House of Hogton, which is going to be what the House of Crumpington will develop into. And so these are totally different now. These are more like human-y looking characters. They're heavily armoured. We've got like a mayor, his family, who rule the town. A bit corrupt, but they're backed up with all their henchmen who are heavily armoured. We've even got Sir Blessed of Brian here, which looks awesome. Great model. And so let's have a look through these now, and I'll talk through their story a little bit too. Okay, so we've got the House of Crumpington, which will be the mayor and his family. So here we go. Let's get these out. 4 little models. It should be fun thinking up little stories for these. These are the big bosses, so when you get to take on the family, you have to figure out how that's going to work out. But I wouldn't want to mess with his wife. She looks right mean one. And there we go. There she is. Great details again. I mean, they're all really good, aren't they? This guy's fantastic. There he is. Looking awesome. Loads of detail on there. That's going to come up really nice. And then we've got the 2 kids. This one's got a bear, so maybe we can link that with the rat catcher, who's maybe picked up the battle bear's brother or something, and he's got to rescue it. So things like that are going to come into the game. So that's the House of Crumpington, and they're going to be the mayor and his family of Hogton. Leading the guard, we've got Sir Blessed of Brian, and here he is. Let's get him out. And he's going to be quite large compared to the other models. And so he's like the leader of the guard, and there he is. Fantastic. I listened to Brian Blessed's audiobook a few years back. It was so funny. It's such a character and a great model there. So this is going to be fun to come up with a personality and story for him. Just going to straighten that a little bit, but otherwise looking good. A bit of trimming to do, but another really good one and great fun. As you enter the town of Hogton, you're going to come across the gatekeeper, who's going to be the innkeep for the tavern that I'm going to build for there. And so here he is. So this will be the first character we'll meet. And again, as a corrupt town, you never know what's going on. So hanging out in the tavern is always going to be eventful. But there he is. Big chunk of metal. Really nice. So he's the barkeep or the tavern owner. Then we've got this interesting character that looks a little bit like Postman Pat, but he's the lamplighter. So he's going to go around the town lighting the lamps. But I thought maybe he's kind of some kind of magical element to him where he can turn the lamps on and off at will. And so he's like one of those characters that knows everything that's going on in the town. And so he'll grass you up if he sees you doing something. And he's going to have lots of stories going on for sure. But he's got a little sidekick, which is this cat, which is going to be great. I might pinch the cat and give this to my warband, and then the animal handler can have a cat maybe, because it's quite cool. And it looks too nice to be in Hogton, so that's that. But there he is. He's got his lamp. He's got his wheelbarrow full of candles to light. So a real fun character. I think this is going to be a great one to write some stories around. Now we're on to Commander Boots, and he's part of the House Guard that's commanded by Sir Bresid of Brienne, and he's going to be like the thug that does all the willing of the mayor and keeps everyone in check in the town. So here he is. Some cool armour on these. They're all very different. We've got another 5 after him to look through, which have all got completely different sets of armour, but they all work together so well. You can just imagine these in a cartoon. Real cool models. Next we've got the Ironclad. So this guy's just a big round-bodied character, but pretty tall. There he is. You can barely see his face in there. Awesome. Again, really fits in with the style and character, but completely different looking model and armour. Now we've got the Sentinel. You could even use these as your like animal characters and just pretend there's an animal in there. I mean, there's no one to say there's not, especially with these pointy bits. That could be like a beak. So there he is. And so, yeah, they've all got different weapons as well, which is fun. So when building the warrior cards for Weekend Warriors, then you can make a real varied warband just with these models here. Now on to Sir Bucket, who's got this flail. This is a really cool. I love his horns on his helmet there. That's great. And so with Weekend Warriors, you can have like anything. You could just have 1 model per side or go up to 10 or more. It's up to you. And I'm actually doing some rules in a bigger, full-scale battle game as well that I've been thinking about and making some notes on. So I'll be using my Space Wolves on that, actually. But yeah, but with the Skirmish version, you can go anything from 1 to 10 models. So you could field this whole lot that we've seen here in one go, or just pick out a few of them and put together a little warband of the armoured characters. That's how I imagine going with it. Another beaked one called the Raven. And he's got a pretty good shield, actually. I really like the look of this. And again, you could use him as an animal because he's got that beak. You wouldn't know exactly what's under there. And those spindly legs could certainly belong to some kind of crow or raven. But there he is. They're really funny, really fun models. And finally, we've got the Warrior. And I got this one originally to be like a sparrow or something, which would fit in really nicely with burrows and badgers. But then once I saw the other models and I got my second order, I thought, no, he can fit in maybe with them a bit more. But looking at him now, he's quite smaller than them. So I may go back and put him with the animals at the beginning. And he's kind of some aspiring knight. Maybe he's got the sword of his father, perhaps. Yeah, that would work, 'cause that sword's way too big for him. So maybe he's trying to avenge his father. Maybe they were taken out by these guys. So he's going to seek revenge at Hogton. Who knows? But there we are. So that's that one, the Warrior. A real cute character. Yeah, it's got to be an animal, isn't it? There he is. The final group are the Gnomes of a Gauder's Deep. And I've done a separate video on this if you'd like to check it out, where I do a full unboxing. These boxes are beautiful. Come with this embossed logo. Really fun to open. They make great gifts, I think. And just really stunning models. And so I won't go through all of these, but I'll just show you really quickly. These are a great selection. They're a mix of resin and metal, and you can see they're so different. We've got some archers, we've got lots of magical looking ones, these giant toads, which are so cool. And so these are going to be in a completely different area of the map and a different town altogether. So, well, they're going to be in some kind of castle maybe. I'll probably come away from a Gauder's Deep and come up with something else for them. Some kind of forest or woodlands, I think, would suit them. Yeah, so they're going to be another group that we'll get to later on in the story. And I can't show you what's in here, but when I can, I will certainly let you know with another video. This is a secret, and when it's out, it's not released yet. So this is a new model that hasn't been released. But as soon as they do release it, I'll get this one put together, and you'll see exactly how that's going to fit in with the quest as well. There we go, that's all of them opened now, so really happy to have done this, and I can get on with painting them and get ready for all the different stories and quests I'm going to put together. Also looking forward to making the terrain. I recently made this, the Fang, for my Space Wolves, and I'll be using this in Weekend Warriors too. This will be like a backdrop, almost acted as Majika's castle, and so yeah, that's going to feature heavily in the game as well. And a big part of Weekend Warriors is encouraging you to build the terrain with your kids, get them involved, do some junk modelling. This is all made from polystyrene from a desk packaging and a bit of pink foam as well. And so it's just using things that don't cost a lot of money and then making something fun and quirky with them. As a small skirmish game, a 2 foot by 2 foot square board is perfect for Weekend Warriors, but if you want to add more terrain, then you can certainly spread it out over a 3 foot by 3 foot and just start your deployment zones a little bit more central to the board. And that's probably what I'll be doing with this, because I want to build some really fun terrain for all these characters to interact with. So I can't wait to be doing that. And I'll do another video probably tomorrow, just talking through the plans for the terrain and getting started on it. And I want to do something similar to what I did with my 30-day Space Wolves challenge, where I do behind the scenes videos and just show you how I'm building up to playing a game by going through all the stages of designing a quest, building the terrain, filling out the warrior cards and putting together my war bands, and then getting ready to play, and then build that up over the next week to the first battle report for Weekend Warriors on the channel. So that's the plan, and I hope you come and join me and follow behind the scenes as I prepare for the battle report, and then hopefully I'll do one each week and see how it goes, and then we can develop the story. That's something I'm really keen to do. I've got to be doing battle reports for all the different games, and once I've caught up with some of the painting and the backlog, I'll start moving back to Warcry, doing battle reports for that, the How to Play series for Warhammer 40k, and battle reports for Combat Patrol level narrative games. That's something I'm really wanting to get into. But for Weekend Warriors, it's all about this fantasy campaign to start with, and then we can start moving in to zombie games too. That's going to be really fun. I hope you enjoyed this video and had a good look at these Northumbrian tin soldier models. They're fantastic. I'll put the link in the description to the website so you can pick them up there and have a good look at their full range. Also, I'll put a link at the end of the video to Weekend Warriors Introduction if you haven't seen it already. And if you want to support the channel, I'd love it if you picked up a copy of the book. You can get it as a PDF or a paperback, and if you buy the paperback, you'll get the PDF for free. I'm also giving a free sci-fi mission pack and a fantasy quest pack if you do order that. So all that information is down below, and I'd really appreciate that support, so thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these daily videos possible, and if you're interested in joining the community, it'd be awesome to see you there, and I'll put a link for that in the description down below.